And I'm going to hand straight over to Jim. And with a warm welcome to you, Jim, and a warm welcome to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen, and looking forward to talking about tech for child helplines. So go ahead and head to the next slide. So we believe that the future of tech for child helplines is humans. And replacing human counselors, not likely, not desirable, much more limited in terms of what it can do today because of the limitations of technology. But the essence of helplines is humans helping humans. And our goal with technology is to make those humans, those counselors, more effective and more efficient to do a better job for the children that they serve. How can we shorten the time it takes for a child to reach a counselor? How can we decrease the amount of time that counselors spend on data entry and other tasks that aren't directly counseling children? How can we address needs that don't require an empathetic counselor? Now, it's not that with all the hype about generative AI, that people haven't been trying to replace humans directly with this technology. So far, it hasn't gone that well. There are a couple examples I just want to cite quickly. The first one is the National Eating Disorders Association in the United States fired its counseling staff for people with eating disorders, replaced it with Tessa, the generative AI chatbot. And within a week, there were screenshots circulating of Tessa telling people reaching out for help the exact opposite of what was clinically understood to be what you should be doing when you were counseling a person with a weight disorder. And that's not surprising. If you're trained on the average of the internet, you might get bad advice as opposed to what an expert trained counselor might actually tell you. And then, of course, in the last month, it came out that McDonald's shut down their effort to automate their order taking in their drive-through restaurants because the generative AI chatbot from IBM kept adding bacon to ice cream and giving you 12 orders of chicken McNuggets instead of one. So let's talk about how we're going to focus on the counselors and helping them. Next slide, please. So a lot of the hype from the industry is that you should replace your people right away. And, you know, that's the programmatic work in helplines. That's actually the counseling and referrals and the sort of work, the day-to-day work of helplines. That's hard. That's expensive. When people are going to be doing this, it's going to be by investing a lot of time and energy in doing it. Now, that's not to say that generative AI isn't good for administrative tasks, like helping you write a better grant proposal or do more research on donors. Yeah, stipulated. But those are things that where AI helps everyone sort of in roughly the same way. I think what we're really focusing on is the actual work of doing a helpline. And, you know, you don't start with AI. You need to actually be collecting data, saving it, using it in a smart way, becoming data savvy, managing your helpline more effectively using that data. Maybe you're using it for scheduling your team. Maybe you're using it to surface new issues that are coming up from the children who are reaching out for help. Maybe it's because you're using the data for advocacy, whether it's for policy changes in government or whether it's for more funding for your helpline. So if you start using data in these day-to-day sort of ways, you're going to start to surface the kinds of things that you would actually use AI to do, because you would begin to get basically a hang of where are we spending a lot of time where humans could benefit from some automation. And I basically suggest look for drudgery, right? If you can find something that is a task that is slow and hard and not all that value added, that's a great example of AI. The other thing is very few helplines are going to have a deep technical staff to do programmatic AI. And that's where you're going to want to work with partners, tech partners like Tech Matters. We would love to help, but also some of the other tech partners that you're hearing from today, like Reflex AI, we'll be speaking later. So the last thing I want to point out is that tech is expensive. So unless you get a standardized product that has already sort of invested a lot of money in something and then giving it to 100 helplines, if you're going to invest in yourself, does it pan out in terms of financials? If you spend $300,000 on a custom AI project and it's going to deliver $30,000 a year of labor savings, that does not make sense to do. So, and let's go on to the next slide. So it goes without saying that the data of children is sensitive. And as helplines, as nonprofits, as government agencies, we have a high degree of responsibility for stewarding that data. And so, everybody in this field has a child safeguarding policy. Well, it's quite clear that part of child safeguarding is safeguarding the data of children so that the data isn't used to victimize them again. So now, at the same time, child helplines often have some of the most incredible data about children that exists in the world and in your country. And so this is an incredible opportunity to use. One of the things I will point out about AI, and it came up in the Tesla example, is that AI right now is trained on data that's quite biased. We don't have a lot of data about children, and we don't have a lot of data outside of maybe 5% of the world's countries. That's what's being trained on right now. And so it doesn't do that good a job. It doesn't give you the correct answers. It says the wrong things. And so, but it could be that the data sets that you have could be really interesting, especially for your national languages. And so one of the things that we're working on with CHI and member helplines is something called the Better Deal for Data. It's a set of principles about how we can use data, safeguarding the data of individual children, but being able to use de-identified data of children to actually better train AI, get insights into what's actually going on with children. So watch this space. This is going to be a very active area in the next year, because it's not just about AI, it's also about the data that's going to train the AI. Next slide, please. So I see tremendously exciting things ahead in technology. And of course, I'm a tech guy. I would think that way. But I think you are going to see technology doing a whole host of tasks. And it will be up to your individual helpline to decide, do we want to take advantage of this? And I think that in the short term, most of the things that we're going to be doing are not going to directly touch children. They're really going to be focused on improving the operations of helplines, and especially the counselors and the supervisors who actually interact with children. So I think the first thing is something that's very near and dear to CHI's heart, which is hearing the voice of the child. In some ways, hearing what tens of millions of children are saying in conversations with CHI member helplines is an incredible opportunity to get an idea of what's going on with children. And I know that part of this strategic planning process is talking about what could we use with data that's, I don't know, more insightful, more in depth, using more of the data than just, let's say, a summary accounting of what happened last year. So I think that opportunity is tremendous. And obviously, we're working hard to support that part of CHI's agenda and look forward to working with you guys on that. But there are tons of things that we can collectively do as technologists to save human counselors time, right? Handling routine tasks, routing and triage. We've had some great experience with speeding data collection. What if it takes a quarter of the time to enter the data about a contact? That is valuable, because that's more time that the counselor can spend with the child. And then, of course, there's all the work on supporting, training, quality control, improving the level of the service. And so, your helplines collectively are going to help shape what kind of technology gets built in this area. Next slide, please. So I think that many of the most exciting things that are going to be happening with technology in the CHI network are going to be done at individual helplines, experimenting and innovating on their own. And I think the rest of this session is going to talk about some of those innovations. But few helplines are in a position to actively provide software to their peers. And that's why organizations like Tech Matters and Reflex AI and others exist, to actually do the work of providing software. And it probably won't surprise you that when I interact with CHI member helplines and say, that is a really cool innovation, can we copy it and share it with the rest of the network? They say yes, because I think there's a generosity of spirit and a common commitment to the mission of serving children that really makes this sort of work easy. And, you know, Tech Matters is CHI's open source partner. And, you know, we'd love to support your helplines. Obviously, we're learning from helplines that aren't using our Asalo platform. And we hope that you actually, whether or not you use the Asalo platform, learn from the sort of work that we're doing, because everything that we do, we're publishing openly. And so it's very easy to kind of see the innovations that we've already done through Asalo, such as adding many of the text channels where children actually are, making it easier to submit those annual reports to CHI, the data reports. And I think we're going to go much further with that. And of course, we have much more ambitions for the future, including AI. And I do want to highlight the cooperation we've had with CHI and member helplines on our new AI sort of powered project, where we're using data from helplines in North America, the Caribbean, and Africa to work on recognizing topics. Because so much of what you would do with AI revolves around understanding what is the child and the counselor, what are they talking about? And so there's so many things you can do if you know that. And so we're in the middle of that work right now. And of course, the one other thing that sort of distinguishes us as a partner is we don't care about how rich a helpline is. We want to help all of the helplines. And that means that since AI tends to be predominantly biased for the rich parts of the world, we're really excited about, you know, from the beginning, working with helplines from other regions of the world. And right now we're working on English and its many variations, but you can imagine how that would apply to Spanish and its many variations, French, Arabic, and then national languages. So anyway, this project's just kicking off now, and we're really excited about sharing how that goes. And we thank the network for helping us. And so now, thanks a lot for your attention. I'm going to turn it over to Dee or Helen to handle whoever's next in our speaking lineup. Thanks for your attention.